from Jiwe. I'm very many things in terms of professionalism. I'm a data scientist. At the same time, I'm a cybersecurity engineer. That was my minor. But at Jiwe, I work as the community manager and the partnership and developer manager. I don't know how to say it. It's a lot. It's quite a lot. So this is Newton. I have two of my colleagues. This is Newton. He deals with the play tests and he's also a 3D artist. And then over there we have Kabaka Mwangi. Wenye mko TikTok, gamers, PUBG, unamjua. Sikuna watu wa PUBG hapa? Kai, hakuna watu wa PUBG. He's a streamer. So his official names or ID name is Hassan Kamau, but Kabaka is his stage name. So Jiwe, this is basically what we do. We have 3 parts. We have the studio part, we have the community part, and we have the esports part. The community part, I deal with it. I manage everything community-wise and the esports part. But our CEO deals with the studio part. When I say the studio part, it means the developers, our developers, the games they develop, he manages that and us in general. The studio part, we work with institutions. For example, University of London, SOAS, I don't know if you've heard of it. We create games for them. We've created Umoja, Usawa, with them. Then we have Story Moja. I don't know if you guys have heard of them. They give us the stories, then we create the games for them. Then now the community bit of it is where we come in. We come to talk to you guys about it. So our main agenda is to bring local games to the world. Instead of taking the other games, bringing it to Kenya, we do the opposite now. We take games to the world, the local games. That is where we have the build, play, thrive, as local gamers, local developers. The gaming industry is not known outside there. That is where we come in. Then the next slide. In case you have any questions about us, you tell us. So these are the few games we've managed that are on our platforms. People have great ideas. These are just prototypes. They have great ideas, but the people don't see it. If you have many games like these Tales of Luanda, we submitted the game to an event that was in South Africa, and it won the...
So, hi, let me introduce myself again. My name is Newton, a 3D artist and a game developer for Jiwe Studios. I also manage the community bit of it, obviously with HIL. So, okay, maybe let me start from the top. First of all, most of you are people maybe who love games, you love being in the space of gaming, and you understand that when you're creating games, it's not just being a good developer, being a good animator, being a good storyteller. It's about combining everything and making that be an experience that someone can enjoy. So, before I get to this, we are trying to create a community of gamers where we support early stage developers, people who have ideas in their head, people who have games that are working, they're creating games in their bedrooms, and they feel that that's something they want to show the world. And that's something that happened to us, the Jiwe Studio, maybe before I joined. They wanted to create a game, but once you start working on a game, you want people to be there to maybe understand what you're doing and to create a community around your game. So we've been really trying to create that because we realized a lot of people are really good at what they do. We we have a lot of brilliant engineers, we have a lot of brilliant artists, but you just create a game in your bedroom, apart from your 3 cousins, nobody knows about your game. So you want to change that because sometimes you really have a good idea. So what we are doing with Jiwe.io is trying to cover that. We are trying to get you from being a solo developer in your bedroom or maybe hanging out with your friends when you're developing games to something that you can present in front of the world. So what we're talking about, the Mwanzo Prototype of the Year Award, it's an award. I don't know if maybe you know about Fakugesi Awards. They gave us the opportunity of choosing the best prototype of the year. So what we do, we allow you to create something that's more of an idea. Then once you create that and we feel it's a good idea, or it's exciting because it's a game, if it's exciting, you win. So if you create something like that, we give you a chance where we give you maybe a platform first to post your game, we give you opportunity to play test it. Kabaka, who's there, he's one like of our streamers and also he's part of the team. We give them your games and a group of other streamers. We give them your games, they play test with their chat, with their crowds, and they give you feedback on how they feel about the game. Sometimes you might feel maybe insecure about your game, but I believe there's a lot that comes from that because most of the time, people create really good stuff. So once people now start talking about your game, understanding what your idea was, now they become part of your project. So they want to see how it goes, and slowly you start with like 5 people. Maybe a few months later, you realize like you've really grown from 5 to 7 people, sometimes maybe 30, depending on how it goes. So with the Mwanzo Prototype of the Year, we allow you maybe to be seen by other people. And as you can see with the slides, great ideas vanish seen. So, yes, early feedback, what I was talking about. Also, now on our platform, what we're trying to create actually, by the way, it's a platform that works not only for us as the people in charge of the platform, but more about developers. So we have a lot of features in our website, but why we come to events like this, it's because we want to understand you as a developer. What do you want? What are you really working for? Because I think about 4 months ago, we had a game jam. We selected some of the best games, but we were offering mentorship to people, and they were just like, this is not our top priority at the moment, because if you've been working on a game for like 3-5 years, you already have like a foot in that side of programming. Like you understand what you're doing. So mentorship is not your biggest priority. You want funding. Maybe you want people to give you genuine feedback on your game, and you don't want just random people. You want people who like gaming. So maybe that's what we're really trying to do. And for those of you who don't know about Jiwe.io, we have something called crowdfunding, where we allow you to post a game, start a campaign. We help you with the campaign because we try to get maybe you to the right eyes. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But that's something about creativity. So we allow you to crowdfund your game, and crowdfunding is something maybe that looks simple, but sometimes when somebody sends you maybe 1,000 shillings or 500 shillings for your game, it's something really empowering and you feel good. So crowdfunding is one of the things like we are really trying to get it started, get creators like yourself and your friends a way that you can get maybe something to help you with your project. Also, the playtest I've mentioned, I've really tried to summarize it because I've realized some of you are a little bit bored. And when we got here on stage, I was a little bit nervous about talking to the crowd, and there were 2 people who were sitting here, and the first thing they did, they just looked at it. My mind, out, so it was a little bit disheartening. So I'm just trying to summarize it so that you can understand what we are really trying to go for. And I want you to understand that it's not written in permanent ink. This is something we think that works for you. So after this, Well, with Kabaka, we'll maybe be talking to some of you, understanding what you want from a platform like us, because we have a lot of games. We have a lot of games from around 8 countries all over Africa. Yeah, we have games from Senegal, South Africa, Nigeria, Namibia. We have a lot of games. Maybe if you have some time, go Jiwe.io. It's something very simple. So we have a lot of that, and we are trying to make it really work. So after this, we will also do that. But for now, let me continue with this. So first, let me explain the playtest. We do playtest every Thursday for games. Anybody who has any idea that has worked or something that is playable. Sometimes you create something and then you think like it's still not ready for the world. Whoa, let me show you something. Tales of Luanda, if you go to Jiwe.io, you'll find something else, another game, still the same game, but in very early development. It was called Luanda something. And it is very different from what it looks now. But because maybe we allowed them to work on what they were creating, they've really created something really good. And they won an award this year. So you see, 2 years ago it was something that might have looked like it's not ready for the market, but maybe after some time it was ready. So we are really trying to find a way to make that process work for everyone. Yeah. So we do the playtest every Thursday. If you have like a game ready, we allow you to come. We do it with the playtesters, like I've told you. Kabaka is one of them, and he's the one who coordinates streamers. So maybe if you're a gamer and you want to be involved in playtesting new games, especially African games, you can talk to him after that. So apart from the playtest, we have the in-game API. We allow people to not allow, this is something that's more of a process that you're working on. We give you access to an API that you can use in your game to allow you to get in-game monetization. It's something complicated, but for most of you who are working on games, I know your life is also complicated, so this is something that will help you maybe accelerate your development. Also, seamless development flow. We help you maybe have once you do the playtest, we try to gather the feedback then, because we do like note takers and everything. We send you what we think, what the people say. The stream always have notes on the games, and these are like people who do gaming maybe to a very certain degree. So maybe somebody who plays Call of Duty a lot of times comes and tell you something about your games. It's something that might tend to be helpful. Don't worry, I'm a bit nervous and most of you are really not blinking, so maybe I'm trying to contact me. So our traction so far, we have about 930 gamers and developers. We're active across 9 countries. 20% are women. We actually have like, is it 2 or 3 women game jams? 4 women game jams, so it's not one-sided like you expected it to be, because this is not a career that has a lot of women. So we have 100K plus transactions across XP, airtime, donations, and campaign. We have around 160,000 Kenyan shillings total value to data. 70% of transaction tied to XP rewards, 23% via airtime purchases, proving creator first and participatory economy. And I think most of you maybe you're not really excited about the presentation, I know, but we are trying. Sorry about that. We are trying to create something that works for you. So we really want you to be part of this discussion. We want you to help us understand how we can help you better, because we are really trying to create something that's not there, because we don't have like an active game development scene in Africa. And for me, maybe let me tell you a little bit about myself. I started off when I was in campus. I was doing IT, And obviously, when you tell your parents you want to create games, they translate you to Swahili first. Unataka kutengeneza nini? Michezo. That's not a career. And they think hakuna mahali unaenda. So it took me a lot of time to really get the courage to start working on animations and games. And it took me almost 2 years of my life because I was working alone. My community was only my 3 friends and 2 cousins who were like, oh, that's cute, nice. So it really took me a long time to get to a place where I can create something that I can present to people. But you see, when I heard of Jiwe, yes, it sounded nice, and then I was not really fully decided about game development, but I had already started working on different projects. So when I learned about it, I just started sharing my projects there. Then you start getting people who are supporting you, people who like the idea, and slowly you start growing because you find yourself. I know most of you maybe have a serious day job, and this is something that you do more out of passion rather than expecting a monetary reward. So it took me a lot of time and effort to get to a place where I can be confident that this is a career I can pursue. And that's something we are trying to remove so that when you are in that position, you don't have to take 2 years like me. You maybe 2 months, 3 months, and you don't have to doubt yourself. Sometimes you're really talented in this, but if you don't get the motivation to do it, you change to something else. You decide, my dad told me I can be a good lawyer. Why should I not go back to school and finish that law degree? Or maybe you were supposed to do something else. Why should I not do that? And we are trying to really help young developers to not go through the same things that we went through. So this was this year's Mwanzo Prototype of the Year. The awards were held in South Africa. This is our CEO, Max Musau. He was the one who was presenting the award. And for maybe somebody the developer is called Andrew. For somebody like Andrew, maybe it's not more about the award, but it's more about that validation you get when people tell you you've not wasted 2 years of your life. You worked on something and we like that something. And that's something, it's empowering, so we are trying to do more of that. And this was a very tight race. For those of you maybe who know about Jiwe, it was supposed to be Tales of Luanda, a game called Matrix Simulator by a developer called Kennedy Kinyel. And it was a game called Joker by a developer called Ben. And all of them were really good games. So the fact that they were in that platform, everybody was really excited about it. So it's small things like this, we are trying to find more of them to make you as a game developer. You don't have to go through all the stairs. Maybe we can help you skip 2 staircases, something like that. So as much as we'll be jamming after maybe the presentations, we would really like to have conversations with you guys as game developers, and also as people who love gaming, want to understand what do you want from African games, because there's this tendency of African products or African services tending to be not good enough, because when you play something like FIFA and you play something that has been made locally, you'll feel like it's not good enough. So we are really trying to create the market to be fair and something that will benefit. So I guess that's it. I'd really appreciate if someone asked me a question. Takama, it's my name. Hi.
So I have a question. I was interested in, you guys started developing chess, I think last year.
Yes.
And I gave some feedback on a few of the moves. But I think you guys dropped the project. I would like to know where the chess project is at.
No, it was not dropped. What we did not do is we did not continue promoting it actively. I think the game is already working. I think it's on Jiwe.io. Let me maybe where's the mouse? My mouse pad is not working. I want to show you the website. Maybe you can save you the time.
I have the game, but a few of the rooms don't really the king can't be eaten. but in your app, the king can be eaten.
That's something I'm patient. So.
Sorry, let me answer that. It's another, it's under modification, yeah? When did you give us the feedback?
About 3 months ago.
About 3 months ago. Let me just say this. The Studio Beat has been having several projects. That was our own project, yeah? But you see, when it comes to our partners, our major partners like University of London, we've been working on something called Umoja. I think we shifted our focus so much on Umoja more than the chess game, but it's being worked on right now, and I will let them know. Yes. Any other question? Please ask us questions.
So, from your studio,
Yes.
all these games that you have made, where can we find them if you want to try them out?
Yes. Jiwe.io. Let me just. It's. Yes, there. We have Jiwe.io. We have the game jams. It's even okay. We have the game jams. We have the tabs of browse. You can find your games. You can find a game from browse. Kila mtu anajua hiyo. And then we have the game jams. Under the game jams, we have learning jams, and that slot you have. Can you just inya hapo kwa game jams? This tab. Yeah, so we've been having several game jams, yeah? You see, we have, this one is one in South Africa that is supposed to be ongoing, Play Labs game jam. Yeah. Then we have the Fukugezi game jams, the one that actually submit prototype of the year. And then we have now the women game jam. This was an entire game jam, yes. But it was divided into 4 countries. We have Namibia, and then we had Nigeria, we had South Africa, can you scroll back? And then we had Kenya. And then we had Spark. I'm so sure you guys have heard about Africa Comicade, yeah?
Yes.
Meski Africa Comicade? Yeah, they are our partners. So they had this one, the Spark Game Jam. Then we had our 48-hour Game Jam this year around June, was it June? Yes, and then, yeah, there are very many. And then we have, now for you guys, you will come to the upload section. That is after you've registered yourself, umejiregister, umeingia kwa hii site, then you can come and upload your game and comics. Someone told us to add animation because some developers create animations. That is, we are working on that also. So you come and upload your game over there, and then Kenley, can you go back to home? So that's, yeah. So these are the games, you know. This is Pole Pole. Yeah. So this game is from one of us. Is a Kenyan game. This is a Kenyan game, this is a Kenyan game, a Kenyan developer that is from South Africa, that one. I know them because I talk to all the developers because I handle them, sorry, Msishangai. This is also from South Africa, that is from South Africa, that is from South Africa. This is from Nigeria, that is from Kenya, that is from Kenya. This is from Kenya, this is from Ivory Coast. That is from France, apparently. Now, this is what we were talking about, Umoja. Umoja, the game. We've been working with the University of London, so it's still an ongoing project. Now, this is handled by the studio part. Where I come in is just ensuring that we get play testers, and they give feedback on the platform. Can you just click on the game? So I see if someone left. But here, ukisha upload game yako, this is where we come in. You're supposed to get your comments. Someone can comment, and then you'll get the reviews over there. So this is actually good for you. Si rahisi mtu ajue game yako. If you update something, itajionyesha hapo from the first update, from the first game to the last update, to the recent update, sorry. Pause. Any other question?
One more question.
Yes, please.
There was this weekly, I think, events that Don Basha would do, and you guys would give out airtime.
Yes.
Is that stuff as well?
Yes, not really. I don't want to lie. We did not stop that. It's only that recently we haven't been so focused on the community side. That's why we are trying to get feedback from you guys. What do you want? That is our question. What do you want from us? As a developer, what do you want from us? You see, now, such things, you can even leave a comment on any game about anything. Maybe when you're in I'll give you feedback from there. And then, any other question? Yes, please.
So actually, it's like, okay, after clicking on every game, there's the platform side.
Yes.
So like, is it intentional for you to like lean on? I see it's only Windows and Android. What about the others, Linux, Mac, whatever?
So most of you developers know it's very hard to create a multi-platform game when you're working from your bedroom, and that's the situation of most independent creators. So what really happens, you find that most people try to look at the easiest market entry position. So you try to imagine that most people have a laptop or an Android phone. So if you create a game for iOS, you've already limited yourself. And you know, when you're at this early stage, you're not really looking to like satisfy a certain niche. You're just trying to get to people to get that your game is fun. So when you're working with just like maybe 10 people, and you've already cut like 70% of them out, you're only left with 3 people who have good iPhones that can run your game. And you also know optimization is a lot of work. So for you to make your game work on like 90% of the devices, you have to optimize almost every aspect of your game, from the code, the models. You have to make sure like the poly count is just perfect. So it's not really intentional, it's more people just trying to work with what they have. Don't know if I've answered your question.
What you're saying is more of a developer preference to reach a wider audience rather than limitations of the platform.
Okay, like a follow-up question. So, you know, like we still have a growing community on like the other platforms. Okay, specifically let's talk about Windows. There's some Windows gamers, there are the Linux gamers, whatever. So far about Jiwe, it's like leaning on Windows entirely, like right now, currently. Like the Linux community, like the excluded.
Actually, first of all, I've never met a Linux gaming community. That's me. But I know it's there. There are people like who generally like work with Linux 100%. Everything for them is Linux. But we're in Nairobi, Kenya, and that's not really a community that is well developed. Like if I wanted to find a Linux gaming community, I don't have somewhere I can go and just look for them. You see, when I come to a game jam, I know if I do like half of you guys go this side, this half goes to this side, I know half of those guys are on that side. 50% of them have ever gamed on Windows. That I'm very sure. Same for these guys. So I think this is not a space that is already developed, so we're just trying to see how we can develop it. And most of the developers are just working with what they understand, and Windows is like very common. And also on the development side, I know maybe Mac is a very closed ecosystem. Like when you're creating something for Mac or iOS in general, there's a way you really have to create it for it to work. But with Windows, anything goes. If you make something, it's fun. With Windows, you can create a game with like 100 bugs, but your bugs are fun. If you've ever played FIFA 98, you know that if you're running away from the referee, you can run all game long, and as long as he doesn't get close to you, you won't get that yellow card. And that's something that people really had a lot of fun with. So it's not really more about limiting, but it's more about work with what we have. Any other questions, suggestions, comments?
One more question.
Yes.
I think you mentioned that you work through developers in the early stages of learning. So, in short, do you teach newer developers how to code, those with interest, those with an idea, and you walk them through the journey from being a beginner?
Yeah, we were doing that. Earlier this year, before leading up to our game jam in June, we were holding workshops every Thursday where we teach different aspects of game design, animation. I remember when I was joining Jiwe, I did a workshop on teaching people how to use music and sound waves to animate in virtual environments. So we have talks. We try to hold talks like those, but it's not always consistent because we're in a part of the world that we don't have a lot of people who are doing this professionally, but we really try. Also, like tomorrow, if some of you know a game called Hero, Once As a Guy, it's a Kenyan game that is based on a Maasai warrior. We are meeting with the team tomorrow maybe to try and ask questions that developers are asking us, and the most asked question is, how can somebody who has no funding, who has maybe no backing, create a game of such quality? So we try, we get some challenges, but once in a while we really get people who want to support us, because when we were working on the work, or when we were doing the workshops, we got somebody called Michael Cotham. This is somebody who has worked on Counter-Strike, Call of Duty, Star Wars. Like, he's worked on AAA studios. This is somebody who came from America, went to Japan, because like he was poached from a certain company, and then he was in Kenya at the time. And he was really excited to show us the difference between a proper AAA game and just another game, because you see, the things you don't learn from school, that is if you've done like, this is a course. For example, he was teaching us something called understanding shapes and forms. You know, when you're creating a 3D scene, for those who maybe understand the 3D world, you can remove all the textures from your scene and see if your scene still looks good without any color and without any lighting. And that's something people don't take it lightly, but your mind understands shapes and forms before it understands color. So if you're working maybe from there and you see something in a very weird shape at the corner, your mind will load that before knowing what's the color of what you're seeing. And that's something that sounds simple and something you can ignore, but that's the difference between a movie that maybe has a budget of 200 million and something that has a budget of like 2 million, because there's the one side of it that you can say this is fun because of 1, 2, 3, and there's the other half of it that you can't explain, but it's fun. And you see, those are not things that are easy to understand how it works. So we just try to get people who are willing to help. We bring them to our workshops, they talk to people. Yeah. But in the last 3 months, we've not done any of them, have we? Yeah. But we have resources on YouTube. If maybe you follow us on Jiwe.io and also on WhatsApp, we try to offer different courses. We're also working on creating a game development course in Kenya in partnership with the USIU. Not sure if I'm supposed to talk about that yet, but I hope you guys can keep a secret. So yeah, we're trying to do that. Also an animation course, world building, like proper AAA standards, not just like in name, but once you do that course, you can create something world class. But that's something we're working in the process of it, but we're getting there slowly. But if you're interested, please, maybe you can share your number with the DISA. She'll share you to the Jiwe WhatsApp group. We try to share what we can. That's a very good question. Yes.
I'm curious. Can you give me because I'm just curious about the space, the gaming space. I'm curious. What are 3 monetization paths for game developers that realistically not like a game developer? I start creating games 3 monetization paths currently in Kenya available to Kenyan developers.
So, okay, that's a very good question. So, first of all, we have ad revenue. If you have a very popular game like Candy Crush and you don't want to sell it to people.
Sorry, just one, not like Candy Crush, can you use a case study? Is there a case study that we could monetization like a Kenyan game? Because ad revenue is different for American games. We know the CPM for American games is way higher than a Kenyan CPM. So based off that, what's the actual can we get a case study?
Yeah, actually you can. There's a game we have called Tic-Tac-Toe. So this is one of the games. It's a very simple game. So there is ad revenue. Yes, what you've said is true. But the thing about the ad platforms, they only work depending on the location you're in. So you see, Tic-Tac-Toe and Candy Crush, when you are playing, the people who are selling the ads, because of your value as a customer, they will sell it at the same rate. It doesn't matter that Candy Crush was made in the US. It's more about who you are as a person, because ad revenue works because advertisers are targeting you. So you as a Kenyan, it's more about your value as the user. So Candy Crush cannot be overpaid because it's Candy Crush, and Tic-Tac-Toe won't be underpaid because it's Tic-Tac-Toe, because the people who are selling the ads, maybe for example like the Unity ad service, they just look at the user. They don't look at what game they're selling, because they're not in the business of having fun. They're just literally selling ads. So depending on the value of your customer, that's how you sell the ads. The games something like chess, you can have a simple chess game, but the customer is very valued, because you see, somebody who plays chess is in a very niche group of people. You might speculate that somebody who plays chess also understands mind games, understands tactics. So when you're selling an ad to him, you won't sell an ad about Glovo, about Chicken Inn. You might be tempted to sell an ad about the next big thing, about the next creative platform. And that's how ad works. And that's one mode of revenue, and that's not the best mode of revenue. Yeah.
Personally, I run ads for a living. That's what I do for a living. So when you say that CPMs in Kenya is way lower than CPMs in America, ads are geographically, the rates go up depending on geography, depending on Kenya. So if you're a Kenyan developer and you create games in Kenya, how do you target the American audience? Because the American audience is way more valuable. Your Kenyan ads are not going to have high CPMs. I'm very, very sure about what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's true. But you have to maybe, first of all, get people from America to download your game. Then once there are already people in America who are downloading your game, then now you can start having that conversation. But before people in America download your game, it's very hard to do that.
Very, extremely. Yeah. Conversion rates are really low. Conversion rates are really low for games like this, because how do you get that traffic? Because I'm thinking about it from this angle. If I created Tic-Tac-Toe, for you to get the kind of revenue you could live off, right? it has to go semi-viral, especially for the Kenyan market, because the conversion rates are really low. Maybe I'm thinking even 0 point something, 0.7. So I have not seen content about this. So what's happening? Like I'm just thinking about what's that revenue part, because for you to be a gamer in such as the total available market of gamers and people who are willing to pay for games is really low. So how are we targeting that point of monetization and monetization part?
Now, when you're working with ads, that's hard to do because you can't really predict 100% who's going to download your games. For example, I think there was a game by Mikan Studios. I think it's one of like the most successful games on the continent. And it's a very simple game. I've never heard about it until I met the developer, but when they showed us what's going on for them, they're making money off it, they're making money off ad revenue, they're making money off selling. So their conversion rate is only like getting higher, and the ad revenue is slowly building up. I know I've not answered your question, yeah, but
Okay, about the ads, there is one company that is called Miracles. It's I don't know, Miracles. Yeah, it's in the Europe. It's Europe based. So we were also thinking about what you're saying, because we are trying to get the games from Kenyans to the world, not just within Kenya or within Africa, but the site is mostly locally based. So we are trying to source the developers from Africa to get their games together and bring it out to the world. So about bringing this platform out, we are trying to see if we can collaborate with that company. We are trying to weigh our situations, but also if you have a good deal, you can talk to us. So, so that we know how we can do it. We welcome also ideas. We don't push them down. So you can just talk to us. You can even advise us.
Let me say something.
Yes.
From what I can see, especially with I really feel for the gaming community, especially in Kenya, for them to unlock the kind of monetization parts for a lot of gamers and a lot of developers in the space, I really feel the space really needs to fix distribution. Distribution is a problem. It's a very, very big problem. Distribution. Like, if I was working with the marketing team or something like that, I would really try to sponsor people like streamers, Kenyan streamers. I would really work with them to boost their profile, because one streamer can unlock the market for the whole ecosystem. I would really push to have one of that go extremely viral, because that will unlock a lot of things. I really feel distribution has not been fixed. Extreme distribution, that a game drops and it's mainstream conversation. That's really, really important, and distribution needs to be fixed. Like influencers of the space, of the ecosystem itself, needs to be fixed. Like some of them has to be sponsored. The blogs, it needs to be sponsored. The distribution has to be fixed for the numbers to be hit on this kind of level, that needs to be, so that a lot of game developers and the ecosystem just blows up.
Yeah, what you've said is very true. The distribution problem, one, we tried to approach it by creating a platform that allows people to create games. You know, when you want to release a game on Steam, you really have to tick a lot of boxes. Also on Play Store, but Play Store is significantly lower compared to Steam. So we as Africans don't have any control over how distribution works, because all these distribution companies are based abroad. And everybody, when they want games, they want to go to Jiwe.io, they'll just go to Steam. So we are trying to now start creating like what we have on Jiwe, slowly launching it into the market, and that's something that takes a lot of time. And what you've said on the second point, that's very true. We've tried that, as I've told you, this is Kabaka, he's in charge of doing what you're saying. We've been trying to get different streamers, but we've always been having issues because sometimes streamers maybe they just don't show up. Sometimes you find something came up because they also have lives. Somebody has a job. Sometimes traffic. But we always try to make sure every week we find a streamer to playtest any game. And even if we don't have any game, we'll go back to our developers and ask them, you said you will work on this game for like 3 months. Anything new? If there's something new, we give you the chance. So we are trying, but also slowly. What we can't do is try to over-invest in streamers because we are not getting revenue from it, because if people play your game and they like it, there's no direct way for us to gain that money back. So we're just trying to do a short, maybe not overdoing. We can't really overdo it because we just want to help you, but we don't want to lose our company because we invested in one game.
I feel this is how the problem could be fixed.
Yes.
Like really having very strong messaging about unleashing a very large number of streamers and game influencers into the ecosystem. I'll go on a very, very strong messaging drive because that's where the distribution for the Kenyan market happens. Okay, go ahead, please.
Yeah, that's true. What you're saying, he will tell you about it. That's why he's smiling. Infinix tried to do that. But after 2 or 3 months, the hype died down. So you kind of have to pay to keep the hype going. But we are trying to create like genuine hype, where we genuinely think about the game. It's not because you love Kabaka, he's your favorite streamer, and he said this game is nice. Now you love it because of him. It's because you love the game. So that's why we are really focusing on developers and hardcore gamers. Okay, not hardcore gamers, but people just who genuinely love gaming. Because we want to create like genuine hype, not like just social media hype. And about gaming, it's one thing, it's a time-intensive activity. If you are going to play Call of Duty for 6 hours, you must be having fun. If you're not having fun, what will you do after 30 minutes? Switch off your computer, go watch a movie. So we are trying to build that hype, but not really like forcing it, but just trying to build it up. And there are a lot of small challenges that come along the way, and we started off as an indie studio before we became a platform, and sometimes these are not things that we can always maybe maneuver around them. But what you said is we are slowly trying to do that, and I think we'll really appreciate having a conversation with someone like you, because what you said, like that's an embarrassment. You have a question, please ask. No, you still. You wanted to say something before I cut you.
Let's just have that conversation.
Now you see, this talk was not for nothing. I was looking for somebody like him. So anybody else with a question, even if it's a stupid question, please ask.
No.
So we'll start with you. We'll start with you with glasses like me. Then we go to you at the back. Then you.
Yeah, okay. I'm not even stressing on the systems and whatever, but still, okay, for example, like right now, I'm just cut off completely. My system runs both Linux and Mac. I can't play the games, do whatever, because of that restriction, or that boundary. Now, he actually asked about developers, developing the site you can upload your game or whatever. So does that follow the same trajectory? If you are not does developing too follow the same, you have only a specific category of developers who work on a certain game, that maybe a new one is a whole different, okay, do that make sense?
No, I understand what you're saying. So, you've not articulated it well, but I can understand what you're saying. Let me try to maybe answer it. Not understood it. You see, there's a game called Afro Track Simulator. He was trying to think he was trying to understand how he can create a game for everyone. So what he did, he bundled 3 of his games into one game. So it's Afro Track Simulator, Mother Simulator, and the other one was Afro. There were like 3 games, and there's a new game called Afro Drifters. All of those like a part of one bundle. So he's already developed for Android. He's already developed for Windows, not yet for Mac. The Mac gaming community is not as active, so maybe developers are not really serious about it. But he tried to do that, and it was a lot of work. That's what I can say, because like the first game, he was telling us it took almost 10 years. 10 years. 10 years is a lot of time, man. So people maybe don't get motivated to like spend maybe 2-3 years of your life just to create a game for people who want to play it on Mac.
Okay, let me interrupt a little. Let me like rephrase the whole question. So I'm a new developer. I'm trying like adapt myself to the gaming community, right? So do I is like the platform that people use like right now, is that like a necessity for you to like join the development, the development team?
You want our development team?
Like okay, if I'm being straight, I don't do Windows completely. Okay, so when I'm trying to like develop, or like I'm trying to join new people, do I need the Windows still? Like that whole, so like I can just pop up with my own different
niche. Oh, your personal niche.
Yeah, actually you can do it.
And just like develop. Okay, you just said that developing maybe like a game, let's say like Linux, Mac, whatever, it's a whole new architecture, right? So when I come in my own niche, I try to like develop a different game apart from the one that you people support right now. It's still like allowed.
Yeah, it's a lot. Don't get us wrong. We don't refuse anything. When we're talking to developers, we are allowed to create a game for web, Android, iOS,
consoles.
Yeah, also consoles, but consoles is a lot of work. So people try, but do you have any console game? I know there's somebody trying to create a console game, but I don't think there's any ready.
There's a game we just talked about.
Yeah.
You know about Jiwe? It's a Kenyan game about Masai culture, stuff.
So the thing about Hero, most people don't know. Okay, I don't know if I should say it for them, but
they do that.
Yeah, they're working on console, but not those people already have support from developers from Xbox. And like they have international people who are invested in their idea, so they have a lot of support compared to an indie developer. And if you know about Hero properly, the first trailer was released in March 2021, and the game was just being released. The final game trailer was released in July. So you see, it took like such a big gap, even with support from Xbox, because if you saw the trailer, it was shared on Xbox YouTube page.
Yeah.
That's not something you get easily, and it still took them that long. So console, it's a process, but if you need, it's a Tukatai, it's allowed.
Hi.
Hello.
It's a weird question actually. From your catalog, seeing that you have this game called Fourth Dimension, and the other games, the Fourth Dimension game actually looks like the Godfather game that was actually produced in, I think it was several to the PS2 game. Now, for the other games, I only saw that there was this African culture, like you're only focusing on the African culture. Why aren't you like diversifying your games, like in terms of maybe even outsourcing to maybe even to the Greek mythology or something, or even the Roman mythology, and come up with something creative or stuff? Because I only see African culture and stuff. Hizo games zote yeye ni za Africa. Apart from Fourth Dimension, mbona hamdai kutengeneza games za diverse?
Naweza mjibu.
So,
Acha nimjibu.
everybody is named to answer.
Yeah. Acha nikujibu. Niaje, I'm Kabaka. The reason is the platform is for posting, so the developers wanna decide the African culture is for them. It's not the publisher. This is like it's a publisher. So it's like a book. You can decide whatever you want to write. The publisher will assist you to get to the market, not dictate which content you want. So publishers, developers, when you come from Meskia, he wants more of that. That's my own. Yeah, that's the way. So it's a developer thing. The developers feel that African stories, African type of content is not represented. So they focus mostly on that. Kama ni Greek, will you play African indie games about Greek mythology, or utaenda ucheze God of War? You see, so they're trying to focus on a market that has not been explored and talk about stories that have not yet been tackled by big developers. Yeah.
So, when you asked me that question, this game straight came to mind. I know you've seen the cover. This is a unique game, let me use that word. So we can really allow anything as long as you don't violate the country's laws, and if you're doing that and you convince us you're not, we'll still allow your game. Like we're only working with what you have. I don't think we've ever turned down any project. As you can see, this is not something you'll maybe you'll expect to find at a university presentation, but it's still a game and it's there. It's just like a storytelling game. It's one of those games where like one person says something, you just go building up on the story. But it's also there. There are a lot of games, and you'll be surprised by what people are creating. We allow all kinds of prototypes. So sometimes you find somebody was at a point in life where they felt this was a good idea. Then after 2 years, they're not really following it up. We still allow your game on the knee. So once maybe you want to build up on it, you can always come back. But we do not, hatukatae game yote. Plus, gaming is supposed to be fun. So tukianza kukata games, that is what in Swahili somebody will say when in mtiaji. Asi hataki kwa watiaji. Have we answered your question?
The Kenyan audience, like, as of now, based on the CBC curriculum, the kids have been they are being exposed to technology in ways of they are even being taught scratch by yoga, even doing games. So those kids are being exposed to the white games, the white people games, which entail more about their cultures and stuff. Na sasa unajua shida ni hii, time yenye si wenyewe tunacheza kitu za Africa, most people don't care about the African cultures and stuff. Sasa kuna venye I don't know if I'm making sense.
Yeah, that makes sense, but people really care about African culture. We don't have a professional game industry. So most of the developers, some of the best developers I've met, are still working from their bedrooms, and these are geniuses, there's something just mind blown. So it's not established. So it's more where's the developer una feel. Create itasell ama itasell. Alafu hauko marketing iko ready ku just you unaweza to choose anything. You just choose something and you stick with it because development is taking time. So work a developer it's more about what's going on in your head, less about TCC to this kind of conditions. No, we just allow anything. As long as the game it works. We post a lot of people, they say they don't like it, but I don't team to push the game because it's not African, or because you're gonna some weird game style. And also there's something you said about a lot of kids nowadays are exposed to white people games. It's true, a lot of the Western countries are leading in game development, but kids are exposed to anything that's fun. There are a lot of Chinese and Japanese games that kids love. Ghost of Yotei, this other one,
Genshin. Wukong.
Wukong was like one of the biggest games, and it came from like the eastern side of the world, and that's not something that people used to consider popular. And mtu mwenye ako maybe 12, 15, 16 years old sahi atacheza Wukong because it's fun, not because iko na any western agenda or white people agenda. So games, it's more about being fun rather than being about from a certain part of the country. Yeah, I think the guy behind you also had a question, then this lady, then you in the avalanche cap.
Oh, hi. Which IDE do you use for development? And maybe what are the steps that you as Jiwe use to you follow like when developing? And secondly, from your website I've seen that there is a game called Afro Track Simulator. Maybe as a person who has played track games often, I will come to think of Euro Track Simulator. So what have you done to make sure that you don't get any copyright issues from the developers of Euro Track?
So, you've asked about 4 questions. Let me start with the first one. I think coming here, sikuwa expect to is a question I can't answer. But about that, I'm not really like a back-end developer. I'm more of design, animation, 3D, simulations, like just the 3D world. Everything works in like the virtual environment. That's something I wish we were here with a developer called Benny. That's something he tries to explain to me, but sometimes in Pitanga. That I can't answer. The second one, Afro Drifters. First of all, actually now I used to work at a law firm. I've never really used this knowledge, but you see, it's more about the intellectual property. So when you're being sued by Afro Drifters, by Eurotrack, what intellectual property have you taken from them? Maybe if like you've taken game mechanics that have been patented, you'll get into trouble. But driving a car is not something that you can easily patent unless you create a very unique way of doing that. So you'll just create a game that looks like it, feels like it, but unless you like specifically break an IP law, you won't get sued. And if you know the world of gaming very well, there are a lot of clones. Like so many people have tried to create GTA clones, but it's very hard to create a GTA clone and make it better than the original GTA. So that's more about intellectual property. Yeah, I think there's somebody here who's a lawyer.
Okay, I can add on that. Afro Drifters is like a simulator driving game. You can't sue a person because they are inspired by your genre of game. An example is like Fortnite and PUBG. PUBG tried to sue Fortnite for the Battle Royale idea, but it failed because you have the same idea, they have the same, almost the same gameplay mechanics, everything, but you can't sue somebody because of the same. And there are so many PUBG clones, so many Fortnite clones, but you can't sue somebody about the idea. You just sue somebody if they have taken, for example, a particular mechanic that you had patented or a source code. I can see maybe your T-shirt, I like it, I just change the font and then I sell it. But if you haven't patented the design and I just like take it and make a few changes, you can't sue me. See, I can be inspired by you. Yeah.
Also adding on that, I know maybe you've heard about Shadow of Mordor, where they created the Nemesis system. It was something really good, and it will work in a lot of games, but they patented it. Now other people can't use it as much as it will make a lot of games really good. The Nemesis system is where when you attack an enemy or an orc, they will mark you, and then if you maybe cut off their hand, they will go take some time off, learn about what you did to them, and come with a better defense mechanism for what you did last time. That's something really good, but it's patented and can't be used. But when you say something like Afro track. That's very hard to patent. You have one next.
I wanted to ask, so his question was mostly when he was talking about African games. So my question is related to, you're one of the leading studios in game development in our country, and we know that we don't have a lot of legal frameworks in regards to video games in Kenya, but now it's all about perception. So our parents are the guys who are setting up the policies, they decide where the money goes, and when I say our parents, it's the ministers, the CAs, everyone else is all of us. So what are you actively doing as the leading studio in which you're supposed to open the path for the next generations who are supposed to take game development as an industry? Because what is the reaction I get when I say I'm a game developer in Kenya? I don't have a direct career path. There is no department dedicated to that. With no income or revenue. We don't have enough success stories that can motivate someone to actually take it seriously. So do you have any campaigns that are leading towards more policy or regulations, or even just awareness? We teach a lot of young people. We have about 100 3D animators in our community, and yet we cannot tell them to be game developers because I cannot give them a clear pathway. So do you have anything in regards to that as a studio, or is...
Yes, not as a studio, but I think now community set of it. We partnered with Atlo Kenya. They're really trying to help us establish policies that will help gamers. But you know the thing about gaming, it's a combination of different things. Like one, it's storytelling, it's being a developer, and it's more about IP. So these are different laws in the Kenyan, like the law side of it. So these are different aspects that they have to work individually before they work together as a game developer. But we try. Also, what you've said, I would say our CEO, Max, maybe his approach to trying to create or to solve what you're talking about, trying not to be like our parents. Maybe first of all, if you've noticed, all of us are very young people. Nobody is above 40. Yeah, I'm joking. Nobody is above 30.
I am.
Not above. Yeah. So it's trying to find people who are like serious about this industry, and people maybe who generally want to help it. Because for me personally, I have a personal project called Mirema Nights. It's an adult animated film. So
Wait, what?
It's like Family Guy, something for children. So for someone like me, I was already like in need of maybe what Jiwe I was doing. I was in need of that. So when maybe now I'm working, I'm trying to solve the problems that I went through. So it's not like a clear-cut solution, but slowly trying to improve it. And also maybe trying to change the mentality, because again, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to talk about this. We're partnering with people like VII, University of London, University of Japan, people who are willing to help us out to try and maybe show that this is not like a doomed career. If you've done game development, you're not serious with life. If you're doing 3D animation, you say to do gaming, you're doomed. We're trying maybe to change that mentality, but slowly. And I believe maybe starting with somewhere like USIU, maybe we can slowly start changing the mentality of people who are in campus now, so they feel there's hope, and we show them there is hope in this, not like just blind hope. Also, something you've mentioned, I've also been in a situation where I was talking to a school. I don't think maybe I can get into trouble because of this, but I was approached to maybe teach about animation and 3D, but they were using 3ds Max. So I was trying to tell them, you cannot really force somebody to use 3ds Max in 2025, because most of the animators use Maya, Blender, and Unreal Engine. Game developers use Unity and Unreal Engine. So who exactly are you teaching 3ds Max, and what are you teaching to go and be in the industry? Yes, he can get a job as an architectural visualizer, but you made him pay for 4 years for animation. And then he's a good architectural visualizer. Like, it doesn't make sense. So we kind of had a scraffle. And I later came to understand that the person who was in charge was also teaching architecture, so he wanted to do both, and the best way to do that is just bring this Max tool also to animation. And that's something we're trying to do, and that's something that personally is a new, and I also just try to push it to people to be more open-minded, to try to remove gatekeeping in this industry. But it's more of trying. We don't really we've not yet established a clear path, but we're on the way. Tunaenda tu tukitengeneza njia pole pole. Yeah.
Okay. To add on that, to boost people who are starting, you see, someone like Andrew has been, not Andrew. We had the 48-hour game jam, yeah? It was to bring developers to come and jam for 2 nights, to 48 hours, you understand, yeah? So the winners were connected to different studios, not within Kenya, from maybe London, Nigeria, Japan, because we had the judges from those different studios that have bigger resources. So kuna ile aspect pia ya competition ndio ina boost pia watu wakuje pamoja, alafu unapewa opportunity. You just can't give me an opportunity. Ukuje niambie go and do the game development. I'm a data scientist, you see. Nitakwambia mbona, we give to people who show us that nataka hii kitu sana, but I don't have the resources. And this is what I've done. Hapa ndo nimefika. So help me. Yeah.
Have you answered your question?
So my question is along the lines of reach, like I guess I was talking before. So when it comes to these games, as I can see some numbers there, you are looking at double digits, triple digits, and my question is, do you have a framework or like ideas of how to reach multiple people who could be able to play the game and at least have some retention in them, because most people tend to either not know that it exists, or they judge the game by its cover. They won't try. So to getting as many people as possible to dip their toes into it, and then you can retain some players. So if there's maybe ideas to do that, or maybe a department specifically for that, like just to think outside the box and to have more reach, to expose these games to as many people as possible, because you can see the numbers may be boosted, and boosting those numbers can really help the developers as well, because having that much reach means they now have a responsibility. There's a lot of people looking at this game, and now they have that drive to actually take it to the next level.
So we don't have a department, we have Kabaka. So there's something he mentioned, the guy was about to fall asleep in the black cap. So there's something he mentioned.
I'm just thinking about this.
It's a lie, I'm just chuckling. So I'm saying, he mentioned something about getting streamers to showcase good games to other people. So we are slowly trying to do that. The problem with this is, one, when you tell people to leave a review, they will say yes, and they won't. So we can't really force people. We're just trying to entice people into getting interested in the games. This is a game that is very popular. It should have maybe 20 comments, because he will tell you when you were doing the review, the chat was so crazy. Everybody had everything to say about the game. But when you tell people to go and do comment it, they feel, it's too much work. So they don't really do. And that's something we can't do a lot about. It just maybe try to entice you.
In marketing, there's something called nudge. You people have to figure out some nudge techniques to nudge people to drop those comments. If you need them to drop the comments, they can drop the comments. You just need to nudge them. It's very possible.
Okay.
I think maybe we can drink after
What I
this.
was saying is having more creative ideas to reach people that haven't been reached before, because the population of the country itself, it's a lot, and there's some people who might be really interested in it, but they've never heard of it, or they've never heard of Jiwe or something. So having these creative ways to reach markets in unseen places, yeah, that's what I was talking about.
So it's something we are trying. It's not easy unless you have money to spend, but we're slowly trying to get that, and he's really been helpful on doing that. Like now we do playtests every Thursday. Back in the day it was more like we will do a playtest sometime, but now it has become something we do every week, and every week we always have people who are like, well, what's this week's game? So we are slowly building up to that. I think that's something more about getting those ideas, because sometimes we come up with a lot of ideas, but when it comes to execution, we realize we cannot do this because of 1, 2, 3. Sometimes it's some other obstacles, but that's something we are proactively trying to do. Yeah. So maybe you speak like you have something in mind. So yes, we can also have a talk. But that's something we're proactively doing, and we'll really appreciate help on that. Yes.
Okay. So, first of all, maybe like, okay, I see the whole Jiwe thing. It's maybe like rising, like it's rising, right? Like you guys haven't attained the level that maybe like maybe you're thinking about. So like a challenge, which you put to a level that maybe you haven't attained yet. Okay, speaking of which, the legal issues we're just talking about right now. So like, I was curious, this is a weird question. I was curious about like, okay, have you guys invested in some legal, like issues, like copyrights and whatever yet?
Yes. All our studio projects like have the proper legal framework, and as I'm telling you, we've partnered with Artlaw KE. So yes, we've tried. On the studio side, like we try to run ourselves like a professional studio. So we always make sure our EP is good, it's well copyrighted, and everything is good. And for something like Umoja, we were working with United Nations, University of London, and these are people like can't really invest their money in you if you don't really have the proper framework, because if they do that and somebody just comes and takes it away, it would be something like that.
Okay, so on a personal level, I was having this in a personal discussion with myself, and I was like, okay, I do crack games for educational purposes, like just skill enhancement. So, and some of the top-notch games like Call of Duty, the FIFA and whatever, there's something called the RAM, if you guys know about it. So, your games on your platform, so like maybe I'm just trying to like gain more skills, right? So I'll come pick a game from the platform, go crack it. So, okay, you said that there's illegal issues and whatever, but I'm curious if you guys have that DRM like linked to the games.
No, we don't. First of all, DRM is very expensive to make sure it works, and also it takes a lot of like technical effort to make sure a game runs smoothly and still has DRM. Now, what we are really trying to do is maybe work on the first part first, make sure the games are fun and they run smoothly. Before now, we start trying to make sure people don't crack them, because yes, we can create a really good game that has like proper DRM, but what's the point of creating a boring game that nobody's going to spend their whole night cracking? It's just like you're locking just a t-shirt in like with a very expensive padlock. So maybe we're trying to improve the value of the game before we start locking people out and making sure like it's well protected.
Okay, not really. Like my emphasis was just like for example, right? If right now I go to a Euro track, I see the Afro tracks in there or something. Then
Actually, good thing you mentioned that. Kennedy's game, African Bar Simulator, he has tried to implement some kind of DRM for his need because he's selling in-game artifacts and doesn't want people to track them, but it still has some issues.
exactly. So like the community, like okay, you can't say that you're gonna like perfect on one side, maybe like creating the games and whatever, like that whole perfection, and leaving the other dark side too. Like it's always that there's always that balance. So as much as we try to like scale your game higher, well, like you have like a certain game that scales properly, right? Like you did the marketing, it went viral and stuff. There's the other end of people who try to like exactly like now the rated ones, the copyright, the whole of that thing. They also do their work, So like currently, like as you're talking currently about the games that I have on the site, if I go to one, then I go practice my skill on one of them first of all, and then like manage to like pirate one, like crack one. First of all, do I have a legal issue? Then second of all, you just said that you implemented like a few.
So first of all, yes, you do have a legal issue, but Kenya copy. I think pirating, like the thing about pirating in Kenya, copyright laws are not that strict. So I'm sure everybody here at some point in your life you've pirated something. So should we all be in jail? No. Kenya like is not copyright laws as Jafika hapo. Alafu what you're saying, like I really don't understand what you're saying, but the problem is hatujafika hapo. Tuseme hauwezi enda kununua insurance before ununue gari. So first of all, maybe
I think I can. What he's saying is that is there an issue if, for example, I download the game, then you share you limits on sharing and some things like that. Is it like that? Things on sharing, or getting to the source code.
In a layman's language, to explain. Right now, you guys have like the site and whatever, everything functioning, you can download the games and whatever, right?
Yeah.
So in case, like maybe like miraculously or like whatever, in just case like maybe like worldwide, right? You're gonna have some security potentials, like as developers of your games and whatever. So currently, what are the steps that you
to insist? What are the security potentials? Can you be specific so I can know how to answer you? Because it's wide. If the security potential is me sharing the game without compensating the developer, we haven't reached a point where that is an issue. That's what they're saying. If the security issue is you stealing the source code and then creating a clone based on that source code, I think we have the legal ways we can tackle that. That's what I'm trying to understand, is what's the security issue that concerns you the most?
Okay, can I lean most on piracy, because that's
which, like sharing the game,
cracking the game.
Right now you can't crack a game if it's already free. It's like planning to steal from a mango tree that's on the road. It's already free, so you just register and then you download, you play. So there's no need for all that. It's already there. Yeah. So the developer, you are just trying to put your name out there first so you can be well known. Then from there you can decide on how you can monetize your game, or you can monetize in-game through in-game items or ads. But you don't. It's for me. You are not locking the game behind a paywall where people pay, then they try the game. The game is already there, so the player just downloads it and plays. So I think piracy in this time, based on the context, is good. If I can share with my friend the game I downloaded from a Kenyan indie developer, that's boosting the profile of the developer. So in that context, it's good. That's a good thing.
Okay, maybe to be more like specific.
Yes.
Some of your games have the in-game monetization.
You said that DRM is already in they have created a contingency measure to prevent that. Yeah, but most of them they are single player and they are free. So the act of somebody trying to steal from, it's not an issue.
Then you guys use an engine,
Yeah, we use different engines, mostly Unity because we have support from the main Unity team in Canada. So whenever we want something, we can always reach out to them and they are always willing to help us out. So yeah, we use mostly Unity, and Unreal Engine is like one of our favorite tools because ray tracing, which has like all these mini features that just make it easier for game development. But that's what you use. Also, there's something else you've mentioned. He also asked the same question about monetization. I answered one question, and there are different monetization ways. What we're talking about is ad revenue. Ad revenue, like, it's more about understanding advertising than understanding gaming. The second one is in-app purchases, where I just sell skins, guns, stuff like that. Like for Kennedy Kimeu and the Afro Truck Simulator, he's selling different matatus. I think the most popular one is Mood. He's selling Mood, and that's his way of making money. I think at around 200 shillings. And people will just want to drive Mood because it looks cool. Like it's like one of the best things in town. So people just want to buy it. And that's another monetization on me. And the last monetization way, not the last, there's so many, but these are like the three main monetization ways, is selling your game. But the thing about selling your game, if you're going to make me spend $30, $50 on a game, I have to buy something that I feel I'm not interested $50. So the only people who now can unlock this monetization option is for people who have created like something really good that can be presented. Because also modern day in like 2025, a streamer like Kabaka will go, yes, use his money, play your game, and give his honest opinion about the game on his chat. So if I see the game is not good, what will I do? I'll just not buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
last question would be,
As you're winding up, I think we spent a bit of time. But yes.
currently, do you have like some in-browser games like that?
Yeah. Actually, we do. And I think with our latest update, we allow people to play web games directly on the website instead of having to go to the other link. One of those games is a game called Quanta by a developer called Kerosh. It's just a simple mind game, but it's very fun. And I can show you this one. This is not on. But yeah, there's a game called Quanta. Just go to the website, open that Quanta page, and the game will just load directly in the browser.
Okay, so just out of curiosity, so as to like maybe like enable that, most of the platforms, okay, like cloud computing generally, right? So the site, the Jiwe, Jiwe.io, it's built using React or something. Just curiosity.
That I'm not sure,
Yeah,
but
probably.
that I'm not sure. I've not been actively in the development. But I think that's a conversation that we can have. Come hang out with us. We're just here. Allow me to take questions from other people as I wind up, because I think we've gone past our time limits.
Yeah.
Anybody else? This side, you guys are not ask a question. Please, somebody from this side ask a question. Not you ask a question. So, anybody else?
Okay. Wind up.
Okay. So let's wind up.
Watupata tu pale.
Yeah, you can just come to any of us. Yes, you can ask a question. You can wind up.
I was wondering if you wanted to have a physical game, like physical, not let's say like this in months, how would you start?
What?
Like this that you have in walls.
Oh, like maybe an arcade game.
Yeah.
I think that's more of you as a developer understanding what it takes to make an arcade game, or like maybe a VR game which is in a mall. It's more of you as a developer understanding what it takes to do that, and also understanding your target market. Because in Nairobi there are like maybe 10, 20 malls, not like thousands. So that's more of you as the developer to find a way to make it work. But that's
Niche.
yeah, that's a very like specific niche.
Mm.
Yeah. Good question. I think that's something we'll have a conversation about. So last question. Yes.
Maybe how would you use blockchain in your games?
I don't know. Okay, for me personally, I'm not a fan of blockchains and cryptocurrency. Me, I'm more old school. I started loving games, I think, in the early 2000s. So I believe if it works, don't break it. So that's something that is controversial to a lot of game developers because it's something new, something that is established, but there are a lot of people who are really into that. And I wish there's a developer called Derek who is a friend of ours. If he was here, we would have really loved that question. Angekujibu vizuri. No, he's here, Duel.
Amefika.
Actually, amefika, yeah. No, I think he can answer your question in more detail and as we wind up. Utakujibu?
Hello guys, I'm Derek. Sorry for my voice, but so I've been working this at my friends. I say friends because we do cool things together in games. So we've been working on a game. I believe some of you know the game. It's a game based on your voice, whereby you you play based on your voice, and it basically moves based on the way you talk. The more you shout, I believe my friends are here have seen the game. So about the blockchain, I believe it's something good that you can incorporate in your game. I'm actually even in the process of incorporating blockchain in that game, whereby if you have maybe coins, something like that you are collecting in your games, you can connect to a wallet. So maybe also you can connect to maybe your Ethereum, something like that. Also we did, the other day we did a Hedera one. So I think it's a good thing if you are incorporating that. It's a good way to get some good cash, because I think blockchain is the way to go right now. Especially if you are a gamer and game developer, connect your games to just any blockchain, and also you can help people maybe mint or create maybe ways whereby people can win prizes based on maybe if you are connected to a wallet, make them maybe connect to maybe just a wallet, and maybe just a way for people maybe to pay for games or maybe to win prizes based on that. So I believe I've answered your question.
So how is it advantageous compared to just creating a blockchain to the limits?
On blockchain, so it's very advantageous. I believe people are making a lot of money based on this. And actually, one of the things, okay, I'll say there are a lot of blockchains, and I believe you can just earn, through this. Okay, I think you know about Ethereum, Bitcoin, things like that. So I believe, let me just say this: there's just a way you can collect, you can make people pay for playing your games. That is what I mean. Maybe they pay using Bitcoin, they may pay using Ethereum, you see. But there's for just a basic game, people just play your game, and maybe they may not pay for that. So you may need to incorporate that, so that maybe people you get, so that you may earn from it. It's not, sometimes it does not make sense that you're just creating a game for people to just have fun. you might need to get something out of it, and so that is one of the way for you to get something out of your game that you have created. And so this way you are connected maybe those blockchain, or maybe because people will play your game internationally, and maybe people will not just pay with M-Pesa, people will not just pay maybe with PayPal. So you'll maybe integrating those blockchains like those Ethereum, things like that. So even Hedera. So it can be a very great advantage to you as a developer if you are having the mentality of getting something, and also having a blockchain. You can get grants. I believe Hedera and those other ones, they give grants to. If you have integrated some blockchain into your game, you can get grants, you can get support, funding. Actually, even Hedera, the other day we are here, and they will fund your game if you have won, based on those blockchains that you have integrated. So it's a great advantage. So gamers, game developers, let us put those blockchain, integrate those wallets into our games, and I believe it will be a great things for you. I'm actually even sorting for funding for a brand for my game, and I'm in the process of integrating some blockchain. So also do that. Thank you. Anything else? Any questions?
No, never. That's my dad. Yamush. Okay.
So like you've mentioned that when you're building games using the blockchain ecosystem, that you're making money.
Yeah.
But in the previous ways, how you said it, if it works, don't break it. In the previous games, like let's say a very good example, let's target Call of Duty. When you're buying skins or when you're buying guns or something, you actually pay it using currency like pesa ya kawaida, USD ama nini. Sasa like this new version of like using blockchain, is it like trying to like remove the anachronistic ways of using currencies like hizo pesa zetu za kawaida, then they are using USDT ama nini?
No, it's not like it's more of trying to make this thing global, because if I'm in America, obvious kupay na M-Pesa saa zingine it's like very like it's hard, or I'm targeting something which is global, and we know, all of us, we know Bitcoin, we do something like Ethereum, and many people maybe have even these coins. They have so much, and so maybe there are people who just want to pay using that method. So it's just a way of saying you can just use this method for people in anywhere in the world, because also see like in the current world that we are going, we might have just one currency which might be Ethereum, something like that, one maybe. So if you have that view in future, we might be using maybe Ethereum or a Cardano or anything, or just any of those. So I believe having that something global, a global way of payment, you'll reach so many people using that method, unlike you just use just our local currency. But there's a way that you can also transfer your things to M-Pesa. There are methods. So I believe also it's not like limiting you to or limiting people also to use the normal M-Pesa. You can also use it. There's a way you can connect your wallet, and also you can withdraw maybe your coins to M-Pesa. There's a way, I believe, I don't know what it's called, but I believe there's a way, people are doing it.
Okay, Sinivo. Let's
last one.
I just wanted to add on something. Correct me if I'm wrong. But when you talk about the difference between
traditional games and games that are built on the blockchain.
Yeah.
And one difference could be that when you buy a traditional game, perhaps that is just money spent.
Yeah.
It is money spent now.
Nothing coming, yeah.
It's a one-time transaction.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about blockchain, people probably see a potential to
Yes,
earn
exactly.
money while playing the game.
Exactly. Yeah.
So in this time where money, time and money is, both are very important. Time is money.
Yeah.
So most people will think, okay, some people will think that if I'm just playing a game for the sake of it,
Yeah.
I'm not getting anything in return. It's just consumer.
Yeah, yeah.
So when they're playing maybe a blockchain game where
Yeah.
they can earn something but through
Yes.
playing,
Yeah.
they feel like the time is well spent.
Yes.
They're not wasting away their time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I believe that's the way as gamers. Sometimes you are thinking just about making a game. You should also think of how you are going to earn through the game that you have developed. And it's not a must that you just sell to an investor or some. You should be thinking of smart ways that you have your own market that you are going to earn through that game that that you have built. And blockchain integration on it's something that you can use to just make people pay for your game that you have built. And also maybe it's some form of betting. So if you lose, you put maybe some coins there. You lose if you lose the game, you'll also lose. You also lose some money. So it's also a form of betting, but you're earning as a developer. So let us think as developers, smart ways to earn, not just relying on maybe companies or anyone to give you your cash through your game. Let's be smart. Thank you.
So, luckily we've not locked out any questions, have we? So, yeah, thank you. I think we've overused our time, but we've had some really good discussions. And I think we'll build up on that. Me and Kabaka maybe can say hi to you guys, ask you a few questions. For those who are interested, maybe we can do like short videos, ask you about your views of gaming, because like you guys have already said like a lot of really good stuff. So we will still approach you, talk more about that. For now, I think let us wind up. And since we are here for the whole night, we'll continue these discussions, especially like you will approach you, obviously, so yeah, I think we'll do more of that. As a wind up, I think maybe you guys will be uploading your games on Jiwe.io maybe after the exam. I don't know if I should work it right now or I'll approach your team
Individually.
Yeah, so I'll just approach you, show you how it works, but it's very self-explanatory. Create an account, go to the game jam, upload your game jam, and if you have any questions, ask me. If you don't have any question, you can use that as an excuse to talk to me. So, you're welcome. And thanks for your time. Normally, I'm very afraid of talking in front of people, but you've been a very warm crowd. Thank you very much.